Okay, I would like to call the, is it recording? Good. Okay. I'd like to call the June 6th, 2019 Utility Advisory Commission meeting to order. Everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we'll now begin with the consent agenda. Are there any items any member of the commission would like removed from the consent agenda? Seeing none, can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I so move.
A second.
Okay. There's been a motion made by Williams, seconded by Coleman to approve the consent agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay. We're now going to move on to old business. Old business item number 1.
Good evening, Commissioners.
Good evening.
Old business number 1, consider a recommendation to the City Council to authorize a solar feasibility study. By the City Administrator determined for this item to go directly to City Council. And that was presented last Monday and it was approved 4-1. Old business item number 2, consider a recommendation to City Council to authorize replacement on an aging truck 409 for the electric substation and generation personnel. Again, the City Administrator determined for this item to go to City Council on June 3rd, and that was approved by the City Council. New business. Consider a recommendation to City Council to procure 6 G&W automated overhead distribution switches, which is a CIP project EL 1901. Distribution switches are basically used to isolate or connect circuits, electrical circuits. And we use them mainly during plant outages, routine line maintenance, equipment replacement, and seasonal load adjustment. So basically, if you want to isolate a circuit, you would use your disconnects or switches. I call them disconnects. We currently, in order to operate a switch, our current procedure or practice is to have a lineman driving a bucket truck, and he manually opens the switch with a hot stick. Then in coordination with somebody at the SCADA, they will open or close your circuit breaker. And then when they want to restore the circuit, then they have to match the voltages. So it takes about 3 or 4 people to do this connection or disconnection. With the proposed G&W switch, we'll have the switch can be operated locally. So it'll be a push button at the utility pole, so you can open or close the switch. And also it has a capability of being connected to a SCADA. So you can do it remotely from the office. You can open and close your distribution switch. It's my understanding that there was an ice storm probably 10 years ago, 2010, 2009, that the switches got frozen. And they had the lineman going there and banging the ice, which is not a very safe way of doing it. So based on that event, I asked Bruce which sections or which circuits in the city operated switches. So he determined the 6 locations, which is shown in the map, and that will tie different circuits. In case you have an outage or a line goes down, you were able to connect different circuits through your distribution switch. and it'll be done remotely from the SCADA. So the staff issue an invitation for bids, and we received only 2 bids. One was from Annexter Power Solutions and Gray Bar. The costs were very, very close, but the Annexter Power Solution had the lowest cost per unit, $19,735, and Gray Bar had $20,425. So originally the project was to buy 3 switches in 2019 and 3 switches in 2020. So the money was 2019 and 2020, 100,000 2019, 100,000 2020. So instead of going for bids and buy 3 and going for bids next year, we went ahead and want to purchase the 6 this year, install them, and next year connect them to the SCADA.
Next year, what?
We'll connect the switches to the SCADA.
If the power, if the circuit's completely dead, can you manually open these switches for isolation?
On a, they call it a dead switch or dead bus, yeah, you should be able to.
You can? Okay, because from the picture, it didn't look like there was a ground operated device.
Yeah, but there it'll be it's a ACL control unit that'll be mounted on the actual utility pole, so you can actually.
So they would, if you're in the dark, they would go up then with a hot stick and open them manually if the power was completely off.
Correct.
They're not battery operated or anything, right?
I think they can be operated without the switch, so it will be operated through a control switch. I don't know what the mechanics are, but
But they can be opened if
my
you had to
understanding.
isolate something, the power was off.
My understanding, they're
transformer was
able
off.
to operate remotely and locally if we don't have any power.
Okay. That's the only question I have, I think, so far.
So based on we reviewed the bids, and we'd like to make a recommendation to accept the low bid from Annexter Power Solutions to purchase 6 overhead distribution switches as received on May 10th, 2019 in the amount of $129,629.35 plus any insurance and shipping charges. Any additional questions?
I would entertain a motion for this item.
I move we move a recommendation to the city council to procure the 6 G&W automated overhead distribution switches as described in the meeting.
I second.
Okay. There was a motion made by Williams, seconded by Coleman, to approve a recommendation to the city council to accept the low bid as just for the 6 G&W automated switches.
I didn't have
described in the meeting. That's right.
Oh, $129,629.35 plus insurance and shipping.
Okay. So Commissioner Williams did motion to approve a recommendation. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. We have a motion made by Williams, seconded by Coleman to approve a recommendation of the city council to accept the low bid to Annexter Power Solutions for 6 G&W automated overhead distribution switches as received on May 10th, 2019 in the amount of $129,629.35 plus insurance and shipping charges. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Project updates, wastewater and water. Wastewater first. This is a CIP that was approved last year before constructing a storage tank at the South Lift Station. To date, we have completed the actual well. We completed the concrete well and yard piping. Well, it's approximately 95% complete. The pumps are not here yet. It should be in July, my understanding. We're currently the contract is putting together the glass fuse storage tank. It's a 1 million. So they're working on that right now. And the project should be completed by the end of July. This will provide, in case we have storms, and as you may know, we have issues with I&I. We have a program that was initiated last year, but still, the South Lift Station experienced a lot of infiltration and inflow into the sewer lines. So by putting a 1 million gallon tank, we can store it and transfer it to the treatment facility whenever we feel we have available capacity. It will also look into the midterm, long term, we can use the tank for the future development that may occur south of I-35. So the idea is to send the sewer to the South Lift Station and we can store it there. And then when we have periods of low capacity, it can be transferred to Kill Creek. And long term is to put another treatment facility on the south end.
And this kind of fits into that long-range plan?
Yes, sir. Hillsdale Water Treatment Facility. It's about 7 miles south of Gardner. You may recall, last year that project was approved, but in 2016 the plant was hit by lightning. It took half of the plant out of service. The operator had to run the system on hand for 2 days. There was half of the SCADA was gone. We didn't have any chemical pumps, and so based on that, we reviewed the drawings, the construction drawings, the originals, and there was nothing, no lightning protection. It cost the city about $80,000 for one hit. So we went ahead and hired, I believe, PEC, and they did the engineering for the lightning protection for Hillsdale. And it was installed last March, and it's, as you can see, we have the lightning rods, and they're connected to the ground grid, and it's operational. So hopefully it will eliminate future outages like the one we had 3 years ago.
And so the project is complete?
Yes.
Will this also, I know we have a 2 million gallon per day expansion coming that we've recently approved. Are these rods also going to encircle that, protect that area?
We don't have the final design yet, but the idea is to put some kind of lightning protection similar to what we have here. So we connected hopefully to this.
This is at Hillsdale. We have an expansion going on that we've recently approved of this facility, so I just was trying to make sure.
Any questions on? And this is the Hillsdale water expansion that Andrew was mentioning about. This project was approved by City Council on April 1st. This is for the expansion of the Hillsdale water treatment facility to add an additional 2 million gallons. So we met on May 16th, staff in Burns and Mac and CAS Construction. And we reviewed the following items. The geotechnical report. There is a lot of rock, so most of the building will be done above ground. Some plants usually you can build it below the ground level, but due to the rock, you have to go above.
What, is that sandstone or limestone or what kind of, do you know, did they say?
I don't remember, but I
Oh.
know if you build everything below ground, it's very costly. So it has to be pretty hard.
And it's okay to just set it on top of the rock?
That's what we have right now. We have a clear well, which is above ground. We review the process flow diagram. Then for the new plan, you have a clarification process in which your water, you have to precipitate your solids. So they call it clarification. And they presented 3 different types. The one solid contact unit, the plant personnel went to Arkansas last week to see that clarifying service. We currently have a pulsating clarifier, and the conventional clarifier is a round one. I don't know if you've seen them. And basically a very basic, you put some kind of chemical, will precipitate the solids to the bottom, and then you can clean the solids and your water gets clearer. Right now it is between the conventional clarifier or the pulsating clarifier. The one in Arkansas seems to be a very high maintenance item.
A very what?
High maintenance.
Oh,
Requires more operators to maintain it clean. So that more than likely won't be considered. Then we have an intake structure where we pump raw water from Hillsdale into the plant. The recommendation is to upgrade the existing 3 submersible pumps so they can provide 2,300 gallons per minute, which is about 6 million gallons a day, plus a spare pump. So the 3 running can pump up to 9 million. Then we have a raw water line, which is, I believe, a 16-inch. So the plan is to add a second line for redundancy and also to be able to pump additional water in the future. Then the high service pumps, we're still evaluating that. What are we going to do with the high service pumps? They transfer the water from the Hillsdale all the way to the city. Then we review the chemical feed system, site plan review, and they provide us a preferred equipment manufacturer list. The preliminary design has to be completed by July 1st. So we have like 3 weeks before we have something on writing to see what they're proposing. The plan is to have the plant up and running by March 2021 with an additional 1 million by July 2020. So this should happen fairly quick. And the other CIP was the installation of a control valve on the 183rd tower. That project is what the valve has been installed, and the only thing left is to interface that valve with the SCADA system at the water treatment plant, which should be done within the next month or so. The function of the valve is to, once the tank is open, to close the valve and send the water to Kill Creek Tower, which is like 4 miles, 3 miles north, to allow more flow to go to the tank.
will that change the water pressure near the tower?
It shouldn't.
It should?
It should not change that much.
Should not.
But there's another issue that we're doing a hydraulic model on May 1st, April 30th, May 1st. That was last month's outage report. We experienced 7 water main breaks when we were installing this valve because the tank was out of service. So there is a issue with the hydraulic system. So we have hired a engineering firm to look into the hydraulic model and try to understand what happens when that tower is taken out of service, so we can understand it and operate the plant differently. Also, that information may be needed to determine what kind of high service pumps are needed for the new expansion. That's all I have for this meeting.
Okay. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
I second the motion.
Okay, a motion to adjourn has been put forth by Williams, seconded by Coleman. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Meeting's adjourned.
Thank you.
22 minutes, that's gotta be a record.
Nowhere near. I think there is.